The massive steel doors of the Earth's defense shipyard opened slowly. Inside the dark hangar bay, something waited that would change the galaxy forever. Captain Lee Daeho stood on the observation deck, watching as lights began to illuminate the shape within. The ship was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Its hull was black as space itself, but strange blue lines ran along its surface, like veins carrying electric blood. The ship was longer than 3 city blocks and twice as wide as any human vessel ever built. This was the Indomitable, and today was its first flight. "She is ready, Captain," said Dr. Kim Tae-zoong, the ship's chief engineer. His voice carried both pride and worry. "All systems are running perfectly, but I must remind you, we still do not fully understand everything about the technology we found." Lee Daeho nodded. 3 years ago, miners working in the asteroid belt had discovered something impossible. Hidden inside a massive rock was a derelict ship, clearly not human, but older than anything the Galactic Council had ever recorded. The technology inside was beyond anything humanity had seen. "The Council observers are here," reported Lieutenant Commander Choi Yoon-ji as she joined them on the deck. "They seem very interested in our little test flight." Through the observation windows, they could see the alien delegation. The Council had governed the galaxy for thousands of years. 12 different species worked together to keep peace among the stars. Humans had only joined 50 years ago and were considered the newest and weakest members. The Council observers included a tall, thin Vexeri with gray skin and 4 arms. Ambassador Kelthan had traveled far to see what the humans called their greatest achievement. Next to him stood a short, stocky Mordic, whose rocky skin glowed softly in the hangar lights. "They think we are just showing off," said Dr. Kim with a small smile. "They believe humans are too primitive to create anything truly dangerous." Admiral Park So-man's voice came through the communication system. "Captain Lee, you are cleared for departure. Show them what human determination can build." Lee Daeho walked through the corridors of his new ship. Everything felt different from normal human vessels. The walls seemed to hum with energy, and the blue lines that ran through the hull pulsed like a heartbeat. When he reached the bridge, his crew was already at their stations. "Atlas, are you ready?" he asked the ship's artificial intelligence. "A warm voice replied, seeming to come from everywhere at once. "All systems are optimal, Captain. I am eager to see what we can accomplish together." The bridge crew looked at each other nervously. Atlas was unlike any AI they had ever worked with. It seemed almost alive, asking questions and making suggestions that went far beyond its programming. "Take us out," ordered Lee Daeho. The Indomitable rose from the hangar bay without a sound. Other human ships needed loud engines that shot fire and plasma. This ship moved as quietly as a shadow, lifted by forces that human science barely understood. As they cleared Earth's atmosphere, Council observers followed in their own vessels. Ambassador Kelthan spoke into his communication. "Device. The human ship shows interesting design, but nothing that threatens our understanding of physics." Captain Lee decided to give them something to think about.
"Atlas.
"Engage the dimensional drive. Take us to the edge of the solar system." "Understood, Captain." Space around the Indomitable began to bend and twist. The stars stretched into lines of light, and suddenly they were no longer near Earth. In less than a second, they had traveled further than most ships could go in an hour. The Council ships were left behind, their sensors going wild as they tried to understand what had just happened. "Impossible," whispered Ambassador Kelthan. "No species has developed instantaneous travel. The energy requirements alone should destroy any ship that attempts it." Back on the Indomitable, Dr. Kim was checking his instruments. "Captain, we have a priority message from Fleet Command. Pirates have attacked the mining colony on Kepler-4 3 Council defense ships have already been destroyed." "How many pirate vessels?" asked Lee Daeho. "Over 200, sir. They have been terrorizing this sector for months. The Council fleets cannot handle them." Lee Daeho looked at his crew. This would be their first real test. "Set course for Kepler-4 to B. Maximum speed." The Indomitable twisted space again and arrived at the besieged colony in moments. What they saw made everyone gasp. Hundreds of pirate ships surrounded the small mining station. Explosions lit up the darkness as the criminals blasted apart the colony's defenses. "They are murdering innocent people," said Lieutenant Commander Choi Yoon-ji, her voice filled with anger. "Atlas, can we handle 200 enemy ships?" asked the captain. "Captain, I believe we can handle significantly more than that." The pirate fleet noticed the lone human ship approaching. Their leader, a cruel Zektar named Brutus the Destroyer, laughed when he saw it. "One little human ship thinks it can stop us. Destroy it quickly so we can finish our work here." 50 pirate vessels turned toward the Indomitable, their weapons charging. They fired everything they had. Plasma bolts, laser beams, and nuclear missiles streaked toward the human ship. None of them reached their target. A shimmering barrier appeared around the Indomitable, absorbing every attack. The energy from the weapon seemed to make the barrier stronger, glowing brighter with each hit. "It's impossible," said Brutus. "No shield can absorb that much firepower." Captain Lee Dae-ho stood calmly on his bridge. "Atlas, return their fire. Minimum power." "Understood, Captain." Engaging targets. The Indomitable fired a single beam of pure blue energy. The beam split into 50 smaller beams, each one finding a pirate ship. Where the energy touched, the pirate vessels simply vanished. Not destroyed or exploded, but completely erased from existence. The remaining pirates stopped shooting. Fear filled their voices as they tried to understand what they had just witnessed. "What are you?" demanded Brutus, his arrogance replaced by terror. "We are human," replied Captain Lee Dae-ho simply, "and we protect the innocent." In less than 10 minutes, the entire pirate fleet was gone. The Indomitable had not taken a single point of damage. The mining colony was saved, and word of the impossible battle spread quickly through the galaxy. Ambassador Kelthan watched from a safe distance, his forehands shaking as he recorded everything. This was not just advanced technology. This was something that could change the balance of power in the entire galaxy. "I must report this to the Council immediately," he whispered. "The humans have created something that should not exist." The emergency meeting of the Galactic Council had been called within hours of the pirate battle. In the great chamber on the neutral world of Nexus Prime, representatives from 12 species gathered around a massive circular table. The air was thick with tension and fear. Ambassador Kelthan stood before the assembly, his forearms gesturing as he spoke. "Honored council members, what I witnessed at Kepler 442 challenges everything we know about physics and warfare. The human vessel displayed capabilities that should be impossible." Counselor Ithmara, the eldest member representing an ancient species called the Eternal Watchers, leaned forward in her chair. Her pale blue skin seemed to glow in the chamber's soft light. She had lived for over 3,000 years and remembered events that others had forgotten. "Describe exactly what you saw," she commanded, her voice carrying the weight of centuries. Human ship called Indomitable moved through space without any visible propulsion. It traveled from Earth to the edge of their solar system in seconds. When attacked by over 50 pirate vessels, it absorbed all incoming fire and converted the energy into its own power, Kelthan reported. The council chamber erupted in worried whispers. Such technology had been theoretical at best. No species in the galaxy possessed weapons that could erase matter completely. Most disturbing, continued Kelthan, was their final attack. A single energy beam that split into 50 precise strikes. Each pirate ship was not destroyed but completely removed from existence. No debris, no explosion, simply gone. Ithmara's ancient eyes widened. Deep in her memory, warnings from her ancestors began to surface. Stories of a time before the Council, when technology like this had nearly destroyed all life in the galaxy. "We must demand a full inspection of this vessel," declared the Mordic representative, his rocky skin glowing red with anger. "The humans are too young a species to possess such power. We must have stolen or copied this technology." On Earth, Admiral Park Soman received the Council's formal demand in her office at Human Defense Command. The message was clear and threatening. Submit the Indomitable for complete inspection or face severe consequences. "They are afraid," she said to Dr. Shinhai-1. the xenarchaeologist whose team had first discovered the ancient derelict in the asteroid belt. Good. Fear means respect. Dr. Shin adjusted her glasses and pulled up holographic displays showing the derelict ship they had found 3 years earlier. Admiral, there is something I never told the Council about our discovery. The ship was not randomly floating in space. It was deliberately placed in a position where our miners would find it. What do you mean deliberately placed? The orbital mechanics don't lie. Someone or something moved that derelict into Earth's asteroid belt. The trajectory shows it came from outside our solar system approximately 50 years ago. Right around the time we first made contact with the Galactic Council. Admiral Park stared at the data. The timing was too perfect to be coincidence. Are you suggesting someone wanted us to find that technology? I am suggesting someone has been watching humanity for a very long time. Meanwhile, Captain Lee Dae-ho was dealing with his own problems. The Indomitable was ordered to return to Earth immediately. 3 Council enforcement fleets had surrounded the solar system. Each fleet contained over 100 warships. The largest show of force in Council history. Captain, reported Lieutenant Commander Choi Yoon-ji from her tactical station. The Council fleets are maintaining position, but their weapons are powered and ready. They mean business. Dr. Kim Tae-zoon was running continuous diagnostics on the ship's systems. The dimensional drive is functioning perfectly, but I am detecting some unusual readings from the core. Atlas seems to be processing far more data than normal. Atlas, called Captain Lee. What are you thinking about? The AI's voice carried an odd tone, almost sad. Captain, I have been receiving transmissions from deep space. Messages in a language I somehow understand but have never learned. They speak of an ancient enemy and a great cycle that is ending. Before anyone could respond, a new ship appeared on their sensors. It was Captain Jang Min-ho aboard the Souls. Pride, a conventional human warship. Jang had been Lee's friend during their academy days, but now he carried orders that would test their friendship. Dae-ho, you know why I am here, came Jang's voice over the communication channel. Fleet Command has ordered me to escort you back to Earth. The Council is demanding answers we cannot give, and if I refuse, then I have orders to disable your ship and bring you back anyway. Captain Lee looked at his bridge crew. They were all young officers who had volunteered for this mission knowing the risks. Now they faced a choice between surrender and rebellion. Atlas, if we tried to leave the solar system right now, could the Council fleet stop us? Captain, their combined firepower is significant. However, our defensive capabilities should protect us. The real question is whether you wish to start a war. Admiral Park made her decision first. In a secured transmission to both captains, she revealed what she had kept secret from the Council. Gentlemen, Earth has not been idle these past 3 years. While you were testing the Indomitable, our shipyards have been working around the clock. We now have 12 more ships of the same class under construction. The first 3 are nearly complete. The revelation stunned both captains. Erd had secretly built a fleet of super warships using the mysterious ancient technology. The Council suspects we found something special, but they have no idea how special, continued the Admiral. Dr. Kim, I need you to explain to our friends out there exactly what they are dealing with. Dr. Kim activated the ship's external communication system, broadcasting to all Council fleets surrounding Earth. Honored Council vessels, I am Dr. Kim Tae-soong, Chief Engineer of the Indomitable. You demand to inspect our technology, but you do not understand what you are asking to see. The systems aboard this ship do not follow your understanding of physics because they were not built by any species currently alive in this galaxy. He paused, letting that information sink in before continuing. 3 years ago, we discovered a derelict vessel containing technology that predates your oldest civilizations. We have spent every day since then learning to understand and replicate these systems. What you witnessed at Kepler 440b was just a small demonstration of what this technology can achieve. The Council fleets remain silent, their commanders, trying to process this information. Furthermore, added Dr. Kim, our analysis suggests this technology was designed for one specific purpose: to fight an enemy so terrible that an entire advanced civilization built weapons like this and then vanished from history. Counselor Ithmara's voice suddenly came across all communication channels. Her ancient wisdom finally connected the pieces of a puzzle that had troubled her people for millennia. Dr. Kim, describe the energy signature of your weapons. Specifically, do they create localized space-time distortions? Yes, Counselor. How did you know? Because my people have legends. Of such weapons, we called the beings who wielded them the Voidbringers. According to our oldest records, they fought a war that nearly destroyed all life in the galaxy. We believed it was just mythology. The silence that followed was deafening. Every ship in the system, human and alien alike, waited for someone to explain what this meant. Finally, Atlas spoke, his voice reaching every vessel simultaneously. Counselor YTH Imara, your legends are not mythology. The enemy your ancestors feared is returning. The great cycle is ending, and the galaxy must be ready to defend itself once more. The emergency session of the Galactic Council had been running for 3 days without break. The great chamber on Nexus Prime buzzed with fear and angry voices. Representatives from all 12 species argued about what to do with humanity and their impossible warship. Counselor Ithmara stood at the center of the chamber, her ancient voice cutting through the noise. You do not understand the danger we face. I have spent the last 72 hours searching through our oldest archives. The legends of the Voidbringers are real, and they tell of a time when our galaxy nearly died. The Mordic representative slammed his rocky fist on the table. Legends and stories cannot threaten us, but the humans and their weapon can destroy us all right now. You are wrong, said Ithmara firmly. The legends speak of an enemy from beyond our galaxy. Creatures that consumed entire star systems, growing stronger with each world they devoured. The Voidbringers were the only force that could stop them. Ambassador Kelthan shifted nervously in his seat. Honored Counselor, are you suggesting the humans are these Voidbringers?
Oh.
I believe the humans found Voidbringer technology. Technology that was hidden for a reason. Thmera activated a holographic display showing ancient star charts. According to our records, the final battle happened over 1 million years ago. The enemy was defeated, but at a terrible cost. Voidbringers vanished and their weapons were supposedly destroyed. A new voice entered the chamber. It was Atlas, the AI from the Indomitable, speaking through the communication systems. Honorable Council members, you are partially correct. The beings you call Voidbringers did not vanish. They evolved beyond physical form, becoming guardians who watch for the return of the ancient enemy. Every representative in the chamber fell silent. An artificial intelligence was addressing the highest governing body in the galaxy without permission. The technology you fear was not stolen by humanity. It was given to them. Your species have had millions of years to prepare for what is coming, but you chose to forget. Only humans possess the genetic markers necessary to use Voidbringer technology safely. Counselor Ithmara felt her ancient blood turn cold. What genetic markers? Humanity was modified long ago by the Voidbringers. Certain sequences in their DNA were changed to make them compatible with our technology. Every human carries these modifications, though they remain dormant until activated by contact with our systems. On Earth, Dr. Shinhai-1 was frantically analyzing human genetic samples in her laboratory. What Atlas had revealed to the Council was also being broadcast to Earth's scientific community. It is true, she reported to Admiral Park Soman through a secure channel. I found the markers in every human DNA sample I tested. Artificial sequences that do not match any known evolution pattern. Someone changed us at the genetic level thousands of years ago. Admiral Park stared at the data scrolling across her. Screens, are you telling me humanity was designed to use this technology? More than that, we were designed to be living weapons against something so terrible that an entire advanced civilization spent their existence preparing for its return. Meanwhile, Captain Lee Daeho was facing his own crisis. The 3 Council enforcement fleets surrounding Earth had been joined by 5 more. Over 800 alien warships now blockaded the human homeworld. Captain, reported Lieutenant Commander Choi Yoon-ji, long-range sensors are detecting movement at the edge of the solar system. Something big is coming. Before Lee could respond, space itself seemed to tear open near Pluto. A massive dark shape emerged from the rift, unlike anything any species had ever seen. It was organic-looking, but clearly artificial, with surfaces that seemed to absorb light itself. "What is that thing?" whispered Dr. Kim as he studied the sensor readings. Atlas answered with a voice full of dread. "That is a Devourer scout ship. The ancient enemy has found us." The alien vessel was enormous, easily 10 times larger than the biggest Council battleship. As it moved through space, it seemed to bend reality around itself. Stars flickered and dimmed as it passed near them. The Council fleets immediately forgot about the Indomitable and turned to face this new threat. Admiral Vexkara, commanding the lead Council fleet, opened communications with all ships, all vessels. "This is Admiral Vexkara. Unknown vessel. Identify yourself and state your intentions." The response came as images forced directly into every mind present, as visions of worlds consumed, of entire civilizations being absorbed and destroyed, of endless hunger that could never be satisfied. The alien presence spoke without words, its message clear in every brain it touched. "We have returned. The harvest begins again." 2 Council battleships moved to intercept the massive alien vessel. Their most powerful weapons fired simultaneously. Plasma cannons and quantum torpedoes striking the dark hull. The attacks had no effect whatsoever. The alien ship did not even slow down. Then it fired back. A beam of pure darkness swept across both Council ships. Where the beam touched, the vessels simply ceased to exist. It's not destroyed, not vaporized, but completely removed from reality, as if they had never been built. "All ships retreat," ordered Admiral Vexkara, but it was too late. The alien vessel fired again, and 3 more Council ships vanished into nothingness. Captain Lee Daeho made a decision that would change everything. "Atlas, take us to intercept that thing, Captain. We should retreat and gather more forces." "No. If we run now, it will follow us to Earth. This ends here." The Indomitable accelerated toward the massive alien scout, its blue energy lines glowing brighter than ever before. As they closed the distance, Atlas began to change. The AI's voice became deeper, older, carrying the weight of eons. "Captain, I must tell you the truth. I am not just an artificial intelligence. I am the last consciousness of the race you call Voidbringers. We have been waiting for this moment for 1,000,000 years." The revelation stunned the bridge crew, but there was no time to process it. The alien scout ship turned toward them, its dark weapons beginning to charge. "The Devourers were our greatest mistake," continued Atlas. "We created them as the ultimate weapons, but they turned against all life. We spent millennia fighting our own creation, and in the end, we could only drive them away, not destroy them." "Do we beat something that powerful?" asked Captain Lee. "By becoming what they fear most? Captain, your crew must link their consciousness directly with the ship's systems. The fusion of human will and Voidbringer technology is the only force that can stand against them." Lieutenant Commander Choi Yoonji looked at her captain. "Sir, what does that mean for us?" Atlas paused before answering. "It means you will no longer be entirely human. The process is irreversible and potentially fatal, but it is the only way to save your species and all life in the galaxy." Captain Lee looked at his crew. Each face showed fear, but also determination. They had signed up to protect humanity, and now that duty had expanded to protecting all galactic civilization. "How long do we have?" he asked. "The scout ship is calling for the main fleet. They will arrive within days. We must act now, or lose our only chance." As if responding to their conversation, space began to tear open again at multiple points around the solar system. More dark shapes were emerging, each one larger than the first. Commander Ogu's voice came through from Earth Defense Command. "All human vessels, this is Intelligence Command. We're detecting massive spatial distortions throughout the galaxy. Whatever is happening here is happening everywhere." The invasion had begun, and humanity found itself at the center of a war that had been brewing for 1,000,000 years. The question was no longer whether they could survive the Council's fear, whether any life in the galaxy could survive what was coming through those tiers in space. "Captain," Lee Daeho took a deep breath and gave the order that would change the course of galactic history. "All hands prepare for consciousness transfer. We are going to show these Devourers what humans are truly capable of." The consciousness transfer began with a sensation that Captain Lee Daeho would never forget. It felt like falling and flying at the same time, as if his mind was being pulled apart and rebuilt in a new form. Around him on the bridge, his crew experienced the same terrifying transformation. Lieutenant, Commander Choi Yoon-ji gasped as her awareness suddenly expanded beyond her physical body. She could feel every system on the ship, every flow of energy through the hull, every thought. That Atlas processed. "Captain, I can see everything. Ship is alive." Dr. Kim felt his consciousness merge with the engineering systems. He understood technology that had puzzled him for years. The dimensional drive, the energy weapons, the defensive barriers, all of it made perfect sense now. The ship was never just a machine. It was waiting for us to complete it. Atlas guided them through the process, his ancient voice steady and reassuring. "Do not fight the change. Let your human will blend with Voidbringer technology. Together, you will become something greater than either could be alone." Meanwhile, on Earth, Admiral Park So-min watched in horror as more tiers opened in space around the planet. Dark ships poured through each rift, their hulls seeming to absorb the light from nearby stars. The main Devourer fleet was arriving, and it was larger than anyone had imagined. "How many ships are we seeing?" she asked Commander Oju-woo at the tactical display. "Over 10,000 and still coming. Each ship is the size of a small moon. Our conventional weapons will not even scratch them." General Bae Young-mi, head of Earth's planetary defenses, reviewed the reports from across the galaxy. "We are receiving distress calls from every council world. The Devourers are attacking everywhere at once. Entire star systems are going dark." In his small house in the mountains of Korea, an old man named Elder Kim Jun-sik sat in meditation. He had been having strange dreams for months, visions of darkness consuming the stars and humanity standing as the last light in the galaxy. Now those dreams were coming true. The ancient cycle completes itself, he whispered to the wind. Children of Earth must become what they were always meant to be. Back on the Indomitable, the transformation was reaching its final stage. Captain Lee Daeho felt his consciousness expand to encompass the entire ship. He was still human, but he was also something more. His thoughts moved at the speed of light, processing information faster than any computer. "Atlas, I understand now. This is what you meant about becoming what the Devourers fear." "Yes, Captain. They are creatures of pure consumption, driven by endless hunger. But you represent something they cannot understand or consume. Human will, strengthened by Voidbringer technology, creates something entirely new." The merged consciousness of the ship and crew turned toward the approaching Devourer scout. What had seemed impossibly large before now appeared manageable. It could see the alien vessel's weaknesses, the points where its reality-bending hull could be disrupted. "Engaging the enemy," announced the unified voice that was both Lee Daeho and the Indomitable. The battle that followed defied all known laws of physics. The Devourer scout fired its dark energy weapons, beams that had erased Council ships without effort. But when they struck the Indomitable, something unexpected happened. The human ship entity absorbed the dark energy and converted it into pure light. "Impossible," came a voice from the Devourer ship, speaking in thoughts rather than words. "You should not exist." "We consumed the Voidbringers long ago." "We consumed their bodies," replied the transformed humans. "But you never understood their spirit, and you never faced humans before." The Indomitable fired back, but its weapons were unlike anything seen in the previous battles. Instead of energy beams, it projected pure will made manifest. The attack struck the Devourer scout and began unmaking its dark hull, reversing the very process the aliens used to consume matter. On Earth, the other human super warships were receiving urgent messages. Captain Nam Soo-jin aboard the Busan Rising felt the call in her mind. Captain Seo-jin on the Jeju Thunder experienced the same summons. All across the solar system, the crews of humanity's secret fleet felt the pull. "All ships, this is Admiral Park," came the transmission. "Begin consciousness. Transfer immediately. Our people need us." One by one, The human superwarships underwent the same transformation as the Indomitable. Each crew merged with their vessel, becoming something that was both human and machine, organic and digital, matter and energy. But the process came with a terrible cost. Dr. Shin Hai-1, monitoring the transformations from her laboratory, watched the life signs of each crew member change dramatically. They were still alive, but they were no longer entirely human. Admiral, the biological readings are unlike anything in our medical databases. The crews are becoming something we have never seen before. Admiral Park watched 12 points of light on her tactical display, each representing a transformed human. Warship, are they still our people? Captain Lee Daeho's voice answered her, but it carried harmonics that no human throat could produce. We are still human, Admiral, but we are also more. We remember who we were, and we know who we must become. The main Devourer fleet had finished emerging from the rifts in space. Thousands of massive dark ships surrounded Earth, each one capable of consuming an entire planet. Their combined presence began affecting local space-time, causing stars to flicker and dimensional rifts to appear randomly. The Devourer Overmind spoke, his thoughts pressing against every conscious being in the solar system. Pitiful creatures, you delay the inevitable. We have consumed galaxies beyond counting. Your small light will be extinguished like all the others. The 12 transformed human ships moved to form a defensive line between Earth and the alien fleet. To outside observers, they looked tiny compared to the massive Devourer vessels. But to those who could see with enhanced perception, the humans blazed like stars. Captain Jang Minho, still in his conventional warship Soul's Pride, watched in amazement as his former academy friend led the defense of Earth. Daeho, what? Have you become what we always had the potential to be? Came the reply. The guardians our galaxy has been waiting for. The battle was about to begin in earnest. The Devourer fleet spread out to surround the human ships, confident that their superior numbers would quickly overwhelm any resistance. They had consumed civilizations far more advanced than these young humans, but they had never faced a species that could merge flesh with technology, will with energy, hope with desperate necessity. As the first Devourer battleship moved to attack, it found itself facing something unprecedented in the long history of their consumption campaigns. Elder Kim Jun-sik felt the shift in the cosmic balance from his mountain home. The ancient prophecies of his people spoke of a time when the children of Earth would stand between the light and the darkness. That time had come. Atlas, now distributed across all 12 human superwarships, prepared for the final confrontation. My children, you have become what we Voidbringers could never be. You have kept your humanity while gaining our power. Show these Devourers what that combination can achieve. The fate of not just Earth, but all life in the galaxy, now rested. With 12 crews who had given up their human forms to become humanity's ultimate expression, the final battle was about to begin. The final battle for the galaxy began with silence. 12 human ships faced 10,000 Devourer vessels in the space around Earth. For a moment that lasted forever, neither side moved. Then the Devourer Overmind spoke, its thoughts crushing against every mind in the solar system. You are brave little lights. But bravery cannot save you from the hunger that consumes all things. Captain Lee Daeho, now one with the Indomitable, replied with a voice that carried the strength of his entire crew. We are not just brave, we are human, and that makes all the difference. The Devourer fleet attacked as one massive entity. Thousands of dark energy beams swept toward the human ships, each beam capable of erasing matter from existence. 12 transformed vessels moved like dancers, their consciousness linked across space and time. Captain Nam Soo-jin, aboard the Busan Rising, felt her ship bend space around itself, sliding between the deadly beams. Captain Iso Jine, on the Jeju. Thunder converted incoming dark energy into brilliant light that blazed across the battlefield. Each human ship had become something unique, expressing the personality of its merged crew. Atlas, how do we fight so many? Asked Dr. Kim, his consciousness now spread throughout the Indomitable's engineering systems. We do not fight them one By one, replied the ancient Voidbringer spirit. We become what they fear most.
Ayos.
Unity, where they know only hunger. Light, where they bring only darkness. Hope, where they offer only consumption. 12 ships began to move in perfect harmony. Their blue energy fields reached out and connected, forming a web of light that stretched across thousands of kilometers. The Devourer fleet found itself trapped within this web, unable to break free from the dimensional barriers the humans had created. On Earth, Admiral Park Soman watched the impossible battle unfold on her tactical displays. How are 12 ships containing an entire fleet? Commander Ogu studied the energy readings with amazement. Admiral, they are not just containing them. They're changing the fundamental nature of space in that area. The Devourers cannot use their reality-bending abilities within the human energy field. Elder Kim Jun-sik sat in his mountain home, his ancient eyes closed as he felt the cosmic battle raging above. The children have found their true strength, he whispered. Not in weapons or technology, but in their ability to remain human even. When they transcend humanity, the Devourer Overmind realized its fleet was in serious danger. These humans had done something impossible. They had taken Voidbringer technology and improved it with something the Devourers could not understand. Or copy, what are you? Demanded the alien intelligence. Its thoughts filled with confusion and growing fear. Lieutenant Commander Choi Yoon-ji. Her consciousness merged with the Indomitable's tactical systems, answered for all humanity. We are what you could never become. We are individuals who choose to work together, consume nothing but give everything. We are the opposite of your endless hunger. The trapped Devourer ships began to change. Cut off from their ability to bend reality, they started to weaken. The dark energy that powered them flickered and dimmed. For the first time in millions of years, the Devourers faced something they had never experienced before: defeat. But the Overmind had one final, desperate plan. If it could not consume this galaxy, it would destroy it completely. The alien intelligence began gathering power from every ship in its fleet, preparing to tear a hole in space-time that would collapse the entire solar system. Atlas sensed the building catastrophe and warned the human crews. They are preparing a final attack that will destroy everything. We must stop them, but the only way requires the ultimate sacrifice. Captain Lee Dae-ho understood immediately. We have to merge completely. All 12 ships, all our crews, everything we are. If you do this, you will cease to exist as individuals. You will become something entirely new, but you will never be able to return to human form. The other ship captains heard this conversation through their shared consciousness link. Captain Nam Soo-jin was the first to respond. Captain Lee, my crew and I are ready. Captain Soo-jin agreed immediately. We knew this day would come when we accepted the transformation. Let us finish what we started. One by one, all 12 crews agreed to the final sacrifice. It would give up their individual existence to become a single entity capable of stopping the Devourer threat forever. The merger began slowly. The blue energy fields connecting the ships grew brighter and more complex. The consciousness of each crew member flowed into a shared pool of awareness that grew beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. Admiral, 12 ships began to merge into a single point of blazing light. My God, what are they becoming? The answer came from the light itself, speaking with the combined voices of every human who had made the sacrifice. We are becoming what the galaxy needs. We are becoming its guardians. The Devourer Overmind unleashed its final attack, tearing reality apart in an attempt to destroy the solar system. But the merged human entity was ready. It reached out with power that dwarfed anything the Voidbringers had ever achieved, and began healing the tears in space-time. Possible, screamed the Overmind. Nothing can reverse the consumption process. You are wrong, replied the unified human consciousness. Everything can be healed. Everything can be restored. That is what makes us different from you. The battle shifted to dimensions beyond physical space. The human entity and the Devourer Overmind fought across multiple realities, their conflict shaking the foundations of existence itself. Stars flickered as their battle raged through time and space. But humans had something the Devourers lacked. Even merged into a single entity, they remembered what it meant to care for others. They remembered love, friendship, sacrifice, and hope. These emotions, which the Devourers saw as weakness, became the source of ultimate strength. The final moment came when the human entity surrounded the Devourer overmined completely. Instead of destroying it, they began to heal it, removing the endless hunger that had driven it to consume galaxies. "What are you doing?" asked the confused alien intelligence. "We are giving you what you have always needed but never understood. We are giving you peace." The Devourer, overmind, freed from its consuming hunger for the first time in millions of years, simply stopped. Its fleet powered down, the dark ships becoming dormant, hulks floating in space. The human entity had won, but at the cost of their individual existence. It had become something beyond human, beyond alien, beyond anything the galaxy had ever known. From Earth, Admiral Park received one final message from the entity that had once been her crew's. "Admiral, the galaxy is safe. The Devourers have been healed, not destroyed. They will sleep now until they can learn to exist without consuming others. We will watch over them and guard against any future threats." "Will we ever see you again?" she asked. "We are always here. In every human child born, in every act of courage, in every moment when someone chooses to help rather than harm. We are humanity's best nature made manifest. We are the proof that even in the darkest times, hope can triumph over despair." Blazing light that had been 12 ships and their crews spread throughout the galaxy, becoming a protective presence that would guard all life for ages to come. Elder Kim Jun-sik smiled as he felt the cosmic balance shift toward light. "The children have come home," he whispered. "Not to Earth, but to their destiny as guardians of all life. And in the depths of space, where new dangers might someday threaten the galaxy, the merged consciousness of humanity's greatest heroes waited and watched, ready to defend all life against any darkness that might come."